right, welcome back, guys. Welcome to the Black Diamond Podcast. I'm your host, Will White, and shout out to everybody who's tuned in right now. Shout out to everybody who's going to watch this pre-recorded. We're back with another banger, right? And today's topic is going to be interesting. Shout out to all the guys who are growing and learning from this type of content right now. We're in a different era right now, and this is going to be another dating segment. Stay tuned for more other segments coming soon. But yeah, we're going to answer the question on why the women you were talking to either flaked on you before the date or after the date. All right, so we're going to get into that topic. But before we do that, guys, shout out to everybody who's been tuning into the content, subscribing, sharing it. Shout out to everybody doing that, right? Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. YouTube right now is going to be the main source of all my content, where all the content is coming in from. And you're going to find different clips. You're going to find different shorts there. Soon come, I will send out all the content everywhere else on different platforms. Just wait on it. It's coming soon. But right now, catch all my content on YouTube. So, with that being said, follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. I'm on Twitter as well, posting content on there. I also, post daily on Twitter. Right now, I find Twitter a little bit more interactive than Instagram. So, it's a little bit more comfortable for me to post. Plus, there's no censorship, really, on Twitter. Or X, I should say. So, yeah, if you want more of just unfiltered opinion on different topics, follow me on X. With that being said, let's not waste any time. Let's get straight into this topic. Stay tuned for later on in the episode, guys. We got some wonderful ladies coming through, so stay tuned. They're going to be joining us. And the podcast is only getting better, We're slowly growing, but it takes time to grow something like this, and I fully have faith in what I'm producing, and I think it's going to help a lot of young men out there. A lot of people are bashing red pill content or manosphere content in general because there's that aspect of, disagreeing with the majority. So I hope you guys take something from this. I'm going to talk about my experience on this channel. I'm going to give you guys a deeper look what some other creators may not be talking about, and just how you can improve your life in different aspects of your life, and how you can be the best version of yourself, right? Every day is a process. Every day is a step forward for you becoming a better version of yourself. And this channel is all about you becoming a better version of yourself and just learning from my mistakes. Because what I always say is a smart man learns from his mistakes, but a wise man learns from the mistakes of others. Okay, so learn from my mistakes. Don't just follow the attractive content with the ladies, but take content like this. Take this part of the take this segment out of the podcast and just really see what you can get from it. Learn from it. All right. So we're going to talk about why she flaked on you and 3 reasons why that could be. Okay, and we got to break down, what does the flake look like? What does it mean? When would you see it? How would you see it? When to notice it? Okay. Basically, in layman's terms, a flake is when you're either talking to a woman before the date or you had the date and her replies either get slower, right, where she's not texting you back as frequently, or she just stops replying at all and you just took an L. Right? It happens to the best of us. Every guy has been through a phase in his life where he's been flaked on at some point in time. But the main point is to not just wallow in despair, right? You got to grow from it. Take it as a learning experience. Take it as, where did I go wrong before the date and where did I go wrong after the date? And then how you could make it better, What steps can you do to improve so it doesn't happen again? And sometimes flaking is just, women are just going to be naturally flaky. So we're going to go through that. We're going to break that down. But sometimes it's just unavoidable. But we're going to break down why she ultimately flaked on you and what you could do to make sure, you mitigate it as much as possible. So, and we don't have much time here, so let's try to go through this real quickly. The main reason why women flake on so many guys right now in the dating market is because it's so saturated, right? When you think about it, women have the ability to attract men just going outside, right? Men typically are the ones who approach them, or if they want, they can approach a guy. On top of that, you have social media, the advent of technology. Women are now being approached heavily. Guys are shooting their shots daily in the DMs, and you have multiple platforms. You have X, you have Twitter, you have Instagram. Of course, Instagram is the biggest dating app, if you don't already know. And, people who still use Facebook, any one of those social media platforms, and your girl's attractive enough, if she's cute, she's going to get DMs shot. People are going to shoot their DMs, okay? Shoot their shot in her DMs. Also with that, you have dating apps, right? Dating apps opened up a whole new world for how the culture changed around dating, okay? And I remember just a few years ago, pre-COVID, meeting a girl off the internet was kind of weird. It was frowned upon. It wasn't until after COVID, where people were forced into lockdown, I think dating apps really kicked up in popularity. And it kicked up in popularity in the sense that you could meet potentially a boyfriend off a dating app. People were meeting their husbands / wives on dating apps. And COVID just really kicked that off, and the lockdown really kicked that off for just so many people, because it created a social norm where everybody had to kind of communicate and show interest through different avenues, because going outside wasn't an option. So dating apps really picked up during COVID, during the lockdown. And that was just another way where your woman could express how many options she has, right? And just choose. It's the selection process, right? They want to choose the best person that they're with. With that being said, the reason why most guys get flaked on is because they were not the best choice. They weren't the best option compared to all the other options that she currently has. Now, I know a lot of things might pop up. Women's lives get busy, right? And you have work, you have school, you have daily stressors, family, things like that. But I guarantee you, if you're a woman's best option, she won't flake on you, and she will make time for you. All right? She's going to make time for someone in her life. It just wasn't you. All right? So take that with a grain of salt. If you get flaked on, it's just because ultimately you were not the best option, and there was a better option out there for her. But it doesn't mean that you can't be the best option to someone else or to her in the future. But you do have to work on yourself. You do have to continue to improve, continue to work on your game, continue to work on how you communicate, your social status, everything like that. So we're going to break that down a little bit further. And we're going to talk about the first reason why you got flaked on. And the first main reason is going to be your looks. Okay? So if you ever... And let's make this simple. We're going to be focused more on dating apps, because that's just the culture nowadays. A lot of people are just meeting people on dating apps. And when I mean dating apps, I mean social media as well. If you ever got flaked on it, or if you ever shot your shot in DMs or something like that, you weren't the best option. But typically you weren't the best option because you didn't look the best. There was another guy who looked better than you, so to speak, in her DMs or whatever she was searching. Or she could just be talking to someone else and just you weren't up to par. So the first thing you want to do is maximize on your looks. That means fitting a archetype of man or celebrity. I would say that's probably the easiest route to go. Is find a celebrity who gets a lot of attention from women, who meets your archetype. And when I say that, I mean he meets your similarities. You guys look similar facially. You don't have to be the same height, but at least facially, there's some similarities there, right? And this is going to have to be done on your own time. You're going to have to research which person you kind of look like and which person you can kind of resemble and pick up on. Now, you have to maximize your looks because your looks is going to be the main way you get your foot through the door. Okay. A lot of guys are going to talk about, having riz, having game, but your looks are going to come number one, especially when you're shooting your shot virtually, especially when you're trying to talk to one virtually. She's going to go through your pictures. She's going to, if you're meeting her outside, she's going to visually inspect you and she's going to visually make an assessment and a judgment within 5 seconds if she likes you or not. So within those 5 seconds, you have to look your best, right? You have to portray yourself in a certain way with confidence, not being shy, not being awkward. And you just have to do it in a short time frame where you're going to get her attention, right? You want to maximize your looks so that you're able to capture her attention really quickly and then progress to a conversation, right? So how can you maximize your looks? When you find your archetype, you're going to maximize your looks by getting a hairstyle that's similar. For me, it's locks, right? I used to have a fade before, a fade in a high top, curly high top, but recently grew my hair out and got locks. You don't have to get locks per se. I only suggest getting locks for guys who are settled in their career field and have been doing their job for at least 5 years. But other than that, you can grow your hair out. That's always a good start. And then you'll have options on which type of archetype you want to fit and which hairstyle fits you best. Next, gym, fitness, your physique. You're going to want to, 1 second. All right, sorry about that. Physique, guys, you should be hitting the gym at least 3 times a week. There's no reason why you shouldn't be hitting the gym at least 3 times a week. If you're not ready to a guy in the face, or your body doesn't represent that, then most women are not going to find you attractive. Okay. All right. You can't have a skinny frame and you can't be overweight. You're going to need to get in the gym. You're going to need to put in the work a little bit. And you're going to have to make sure that you look decent, right? We don't want you looking obese, overweight. We're not going to tolerate that. And there's an easy way to do that. Look at your BMI. See where you fall in line with that, and then go from there. Main thing is and you don't have to be crazy with the physique. Like nobody's asking for, this 1% bodybuilder physique. All you need to do is just not be fat. Not be fat and not be too skinny. Have a little muscle on you. You can achieve that by just minimum 3 days a week minimum. There's no reason why you can't do that. All right. 3 days a week minimum. Make sure you're hitting the gym. But I can't go to a gym that doesn't have at least a good why? Because as weird as it sounds, you're gonna go a little bit harder in the gym when when you see that girl walk past you. Right? You're gonna go a little bit harder in the gym when you understand that you are here. So go to the gym with some women. Plus, it's gonna give you the opportunity to just run into women if you don't do it on a daily basis. I know for someone like me, I work a 9 to 5 job and I do things outside of work, right? But the gym at least allows me the opportunity to have interactions with fellow gym goers and then also fellow gym goers who are women as well. And I'm not saying that you need to approach women at the gym, but it at least gives you the opportunity to present yourself in a way where interactions can happen. All right. On top of that, there's not much you can do about your height, but there is something you can do about your style. Okay. Most guys try to follow trends. Define your own style, but also stick to something that works. Classic style always works. And if you want to implement pieces from trends, for example, if you want to implement maybe like the oversized shirt or the oversized jeans and you want to put your own classic style on it, do that. But don't just completely follow trends that you see people who are not in your age group rocking. Like it's always weird as hell when you see that 30 to 40-year-old guy, the style trends, the fashion trends, and he just looks weird. He looks like he's just doing too much. You want to stick to a style that's classic to you and implement pieces that possibly go along with certain trends. You never just want to follow trend and then try to keep up with the Joneses and then try to keep up with this fashion designer, that fashion designer. Nah. And I'm here based in New York, so there's fashion trends everywhere. And yeah, some of them look cool, but you want to stick to something that works for you and your age demographic. Okay. You don't want to be that old guy who's constantly trying to keep up with trends, constantly trying to keep up with the youngins and follow their trends. All right, you don't want to do that. That's a huge freaking L. All right. So next thing we want to talk about, number 2, is going to be your social awareness and your ability to communicate effectively before the date and then while you're on the date. And this is going to be important for all my more introverted, shy guys out there. I once was a shy guy myself. So I have a lot of experience on this topic. And I want to say that, you could be shy, you could be introverted, but you want to find a way to get out of your comfort zone, especially as you get older. You want to be that guy who's just shy all the time or can't have conversations with strangers, or the guy who has abrupt or weird, awkward conversations with people. You want to make sure that you're able to just communicate effectively. And this is going to be important before the date, and it's going to be important after the date. Now, people may call this risk. I'm an old head, I guess. I call it having game, but you need to have game while you're texting and also verbally when you meet women in person. If you don't master those 2 things, then you're gonna see a lot of conversations that just don't lead anywhere. Okay, a lot of dead conversations with the girls not replying back, or a lot of opportunities where you approach a woman in person and she's just not giving you the feedback that you would have wanted. All right, so getting your social EQ, shout out to the KS, EQ is we called it, emotional intelligence to some degree, and just being able to effectively communicate yourself. if you're not able to master that in a way where you can communicate your ideas to someone else and also understand their body language, where the conversation is going, and how to change the topic if it gets too serious, or maybe they're just not feeling it at all. You need to be able to demonstrate all those skills before the date, and then more importantly, while you're on the date. If you can't effectively communicate these skills, then she's going to pick up on that and then kind of think that you're a weirdo and that you're not able to communicate, because women are great communicators compared to men. A lot of guys are good at thinking with the head. We're more logical. We're good at explaining topics that we're interested in. But a lot of times we're not able to have the same level of conversations women can have, right? And women can talk about almost anything as long as they're interested in it. Guys, on the other hand, we're interested in very select few things, and most times they don't really align with what women are interested in. So this is where your ability to kind of be able to show her that you're interested in things that she's interested in. Okay, if you're not able to have conversations, no dead silence, and just be able to keep the flow of the conversation going, then that's just going to make the whole day awkward, and nobody wants an awkward date. Okay, nobody wants to sit there in awkward silence, doing an activity or eating food, or having drinks, and nobody's talking. If you go through some of my older videos where I interview the women, most of their worst date experiences that are most memorable are going to be the dates with dead silence and the dates where the guys are most awkward. Okay, and there's a reason for that. Women tend to like men who are fun, outgoing, who have a sense of social awareness. Okay, guys who are the leader within their friend group to some degree. Guys who have a pack, guys who have friends who are able to make those type of connections. That shows that you're confident. Without that, and you're going on the date, you're not able to make conversation. She's not going to see an ounce of confidence in you, or the amount of confidence in you that she would have wanted in another guy. Okay, so you need to be able to just pick up on different social cues and just show a level of social awareness. All right, the last thing that we're going to talk about is your digital image and your digital presence on the internet. Okay, now if you're shooting your shot on a dating app, you're shooting your shot through social media. A lot of times the reason you got flaked on is because your digital image isn't up to par. Okay, and I'm no saint in this avenue. Fine-tuning your digital image is definitely important. And it's going to take a little bit of work. It's going to take a little bit of you reaching out to different photographers, maybe you investing in your own digital camera, or just an upgraded iPhone where you can take better pictures, whatever it is, depending on your situation. But you need to work on your digital image. This could also be working on poses, your smile, your style. All of that gets incorporated back into your digital image. All right, so things from the first point, how you look, maximizing your looks. Your digital image is the way for you to reflect your looks and then your lifestyle. So this really ties in 1 and 2. So your digital image is going to reflect your lifestyle, which is in number 2. That's social proof, how you are around other women, how you are around friends. And all that's going to get tied back together in your digital image. And your digital image is going to be important because this is how women are going to be able to follow you after the date or get to know you before the date without you really needing to put in that much work. Now, if your digital image is up to par, there's some instances where you don't have to do any work at all. And the girl would just like you based off that because Your digital image is your social proof. It's your resume. It shows who you are. So without that, all for all my guys who have no Instagram, no social media whatsoever, you're taking a huge L and you're doing yourself a disservice. Right? You're putting yourself way behind the starting line where guys are, with digital images and professional digital images. They're gonna have a much better start than you are, even if they don't necessarily look the best in person or their style isn't really up to par. If they could reflect some level of decency on their social image, they're going to be doing much better than the guy with no social image or no social presence. A guy with no social presence actually would really get looked at as a huge weirdo because it's 2024. How do you not have some digital presence? Maybe not Instagram, but you got to have something where you're actively posting and you're somewhere. Without it, you're just going to look like you're hiding secrets. Yeah. You have to show some semblance of your life out there, or it's just going to come off as you being too secretive, not being willing to share your life with other people. Right. So having that just gives a little bit more confirmation with the women that you're able to just be a little bit more open, be a little bit more fun, show that lifestyle, show what you're interested in. Okay. Make it fun with Instagram. Make it fun. Don't take it too seriously. All right. A lot of people take Instagram and all these other social media apps way too seriously, and the dating apps. Don't take yourself too seriously on those apps. Yes, you could work on a serious pose, but show a little bit of your lifestyle, show a little bit of your interest. There's a lot of digital image courses out there. I don't have one. Maybe I'll come up with one. But find a digital image course. Two that I found very helpful. Shout out to these guys is going to be Austin Dunham and then Fit X Fearless. All right. So check out their digital image courses and, give it a try. It's definitely not going to hurt you to upgrade your digital presence. It's only going to do good for you. Right. So, yeah, guys, those are the three things that you can do to just give a little bit more upgrade to your life. Maximizing your looks, working on your social awareness, your social cues, and third, just working on your digital image. All right. Those two things are going to help you mitigate some of those flakes you may have been getting throughout the time. All right. So maybe I'll go into a little story time about a recent experience I had on a date while we wait for the ladies to come through. And we'll talk about that. Yeah, let's talk about this recent dating experience I had where I got flaked on. And the reason why I got flaked on, right? Okay. So one main reason why a lot of guys are going to get flaked on, and, I'm faulty for this, was falling for the beauty and just not vetting properly. A lot of guys are going to see a lot of red flags in that vetting stage. And if you're not vetting a woman, then, you're going to ultimately be wasting a lot of money going on dates that just don't go anywhere. So you got to take a step back and just really vet these women sometimes and don't ignore the red flags. So one major red flag I ignored in one of my dating experiences was going to be letting the woman try to control the date before the date's even planned. Okay. So if you see a woman we're talking to a woman where she's telling you where she wants to go, she's making rules basically on what she'll tolerate and what she'll accept, that's a major red flag. That's her being in her masculine and not letting you be in your masculine and a leader to choose the date. And that's important because that's your whole job as a date. If she's not paying for the date, then she shouldn't be planning the date. You need to be planning the date. And ultimately, she doesn't really have a say on where the date goes. You have all say on what time it is, the place, the location, the price. That's going to fall all on the guy. Other than that, women don't really have much of a say on like where the day is because they're not paying for it. But this gives you all the power to just be in your masculine and just choose what you want to do with this person. And where I went wrong is, she was giving a little bit too much of her opinion on where she wanted to go and what she wanted to do. And I just ignored it and just kept going along with it. And ultimately, the date went really well, surprisingly. The date went really well, but post date, a lot of other things jumped up where she's going to talk about how she wasn't satisfied with where we went out to eat. And just a whole lot of BS, guys, right? Girls start giving you that BS. And then you start feeling like, oh, you did something wrong. You didn't do anything wrong because you did your job. You planned the date. You took her out there and you did what, and you showed her a good time, right? That's your job on the date. Whether she has friends talking in her ear or she thought of something else post date, that's up to her. All right. And sometimes it's just so upsetting. You fall for the beauty trap where these women are so beautiful, they're so fine, but then they're crazy. I know every guy's been there at least some point, but for me and a lot of guys who are at reached a certain point in their life, the craziness that comes along with the beauty just isn't worth it. So take that into consideration. Vet properly. Don't just be blinded by her looks. Take the time out to get to know her. Take the time out to understand what type of woman she is, and really just you know move accordingly. All right, so we are gonna wait a little bit on these ladies. See what's going on. A 5 minute intermission. Stay tuned, guys. We're gonna take a 5 minute intermission. guys. We are still working out the bugs on schedule and directing behind this. So we're gonna end the stream here. Shout out to everybody who came through. Shout out to everybody who watched this afterwards. Hope you enjoyed the video. We will catch